Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Are any of our cells red here? You know, if you were trading alongside with us and you just traded the sentiment, you would know never to be in short. Are any of these cells red? No. Green. How's it going, fellow traders? It's Magic Trader once again. It's the CFTC report for the data that was reported September 6, 2022. Here's a brief snapshot of the positions held by the largest institutions in the world as of that date. And as we always do, let's begin by taking a look at what the institutions have been doing with gold. All right, guys, well, welcome back once again. We're going to do another episode here where we look at the positions. And, you know, as we've been talking about with gold, if you've been following us, you'd notice that we've been paying attention to what the banks have been doing with respect to adding a massive amount of short positions in gold and then taking profits at the lows, fueling a move to the upside and shaking out retail shorts near the lows. And they essentially rallied price up from the lows up until institutional supply got contacted, where we said this was very likely going to be the spot where price was going to start to decline from. And that's exactly what took place. Okay. And as it was taking place, look what the institutions have been doing. Okay. You see that? Look at their short positions. 97, 111, 117, 127,000 shorts. You see how I told you what was going to happen? And then after I tell you what's going to happen, we see the data being released and we can now see it, that they are adding shorts. I said when price rallied up into that weekly area of supply that they were going to continue filling in their short orders and price was going to decline. And that's exactly what took place. Now, how would I know that? How would I know that? The way I know it is because when you study the CFTC data and you're looking at the price action on the charts, the technical analysis that we do allows us to see what the banks are doing with price. And then you combine that with what's happening with the CFTC positions, and there's like a perfect storyline being painted for you, okay? The storyline was they were increasing short exposure here, which caused price to drop. At the lows, retail traders started getting in short, so they had to shake them out, push price to the top, where they fill in their short orders and retail traders were getting in long, and now we see price is dropping. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, okay, so what is retail traders doing now? Well, we were looking at their positions last week. They were mostly short, and they're still mostly short. Okay, so this leads me to suspect that we're likely going to be seeing a push to the upside. Why is that? Because typically the banks are not going to allow retail traders to ride their coattails, okay? So they're likely going to push price to the upside somewhat in order to shake out those retail shorts. And then when the retail start getting in short again, then they'll come in hardcore and sell this market to the downside, okay? This is what is likely going to take place. You can take note of what I've just said and you'll see for yourself, okay? Another thing I will point out is I want you to look at the coloration of the cells here, okay? See the coloration here? Blue, right? You see this? A little bit red, and then it got a little bit blue, and now look what it's doing again, going to red. So we went from the sentiment, the institutional sentiment being bullish, to more bearish, okay? Or neutral, I should say. Here, let me color that so we can see it clearly. Neutral right throughout here, and then bearish, and then neutral again, and now bearish again. Okay, so the sentiment, you can clearly see that the banks, they've been teeter-tottering between neutral and bearish, but overall we know it's bearish. Okay, overall we know it's bearish because of them increasing their short positions and just what is taking place with the technicals. All right, so let's pay attention to this, how it continues, and we'll keep you up to date, okay? So make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll get our future videos and analysis. Okay, oil. Now, we detailed what we believed was going to take place in the latest EURUSD reports, and we've been talking about this over several weeks, about the banks and how they've been taking profits on long positions. Okay, if you look at the long positions here, okay, look at that. Since February 2022, they went from 487,000 to now 326,000. Okay, taking profits. Okay, all of this is taking profits on long positions. Yeah, where do you think they accumulated those long positions? Down here, down here, down here. And now they're taking profits on those long positions all the way up here. Now, when you take profits on long positions, you know what happens? Price typically declines. And so now we're seeing just that. Price is declining on the chart. So overall, there's nothing to indicate that price is not going to drop even further. There's nothing on the chart to stop it from dropping even further. The only thing that would stop price from dropping even further is institutional demand, and there isn't institutional demand until we get down here to the 62s. So we still got a ways to drop. Okay, so I'll be watching that as time moves forward and as price plays out. Okay, dollar. Look at the dollar. Okay. So we've been talking about this, okay? Remember this area here? Institutional area of supply? I said very good chance we're going to see a drop from that area because it's institutional supply, okay? And then when you combined it with what's taking place with the euro, which we'll get to in a minute, the odds are we were expecting a drop from here. So far there's been somewhat of a little bit of a drop, okay? I'll also point out that we have a trend line here. Okay, and this was from a ascending trend. But I'll also point out that when you look at this ascending trend, you can also see that there's a lot of distance between where price is currently at and where this trend line is currently at. So we're due for a pullback. Okay, but just because we're due for a pullback doesn't mean a pullback's going to happen. But when you combine it with the fact that the euro, they need to take profits on their short positions, and we have institutional supply coming into play on the dollar, it slowly leans towards price dropping. Okay, the odds start to stack up in favor of a drop taking place. All right, so when you look at the positions, we can see that longs 51,000 to 52, they bumped them up slightly. Shorts bumped up from 16 to 16.5. Okay. An interesting takeaway here is if you take a look at the average short position is 11,000. We're at 16, well above. Okay, this is typically what happens when a reversal is about to form. Okay, this typically is what happens when price is expected to change direction. All right, price was moving up, very strong longs. Okay, very strong long numbers. All of a sudden, short positions start to creep above the average size. Okay, good indication. And look what's happened since August 2nd. They had 8,500 short. Now we're at 16,500. Okay, doubled in size. Aussie, what do we have here with Aussie? So Aussie is a very ugly chart. There's not much here, no trends, nothing really. Shorts have been the main theme, and we've been watching this for quite some time. Shorts are the main theme. What does that mean when I say that? Shorts are the main theme? Well, they really haven't been adding too much to their longs. It's just been about adding shorts, taking profits, which fuels a move to the upside, then adding shorts, price drops, and then taking profits at lows, which fuels a move to the upside. It's the same thing over and over again. Interesting thing is that last week retail traders were mostly long, and now they're starting to become mostly short. Okay, why mostly short? Well, because price is near the lows. So just because of that, there's more likelihood that price is going to rally up in the coming week than continue its drop. Okay, USDCAD, look at this, short positions 58. They took a little bit off their shorts, dropping them to 57, but clearly shorts are the main position here that they're focused on. Okay, the main one. 57,000, average size is 48,000. Yes, longs are above average size too, but they're still very cooled off. Look at the coloration of those cells, cooled off, meaning they're not focused on long positions at this time, okay? They used to be somewhat more bearish. Look at the redness in the cells, becoming a little bit more blue, meaning a little bit more neutral with their positioning, okay? And we're just up in supply again. You see, look at this, look at this, look at this. Up in supply, dollars hitting supply, and then we see the push to the downside. We can see this continue into the next week. That's very, very possible. If it doesn't continue into the next week, it could just continue sideways, and then eventually a little bit more to the downside. But there is a bearish sentiment. I do have a bearish sentiment on this one right now, simply because of what's happening with the dollar. And again, the euro. All right, same thing with this US Swiss. We see a drop. Okay, longs 14.1, 14.9, a little bit of a bump up in long positions. Shorts, a little bit of a drop in short positions, 11.9 to 10.8. All right, still, what's going on here? Not much. Okay, not much. We have a massive institutional area of supply that was contacted, can't be broken through. Same thing with the USCAD. Okay, so you know, this can sit sideways or it can move further down. Medium term, I think we're looking at a bearish move. Okay, very long term, continued higher, but that's going to take some time to play out. Euro, I love this one, great chart. Okay, so I want to tell you that, you know, we just recently had a session, and I posted a portion of that session. If you haven't watched that video, you got to go check it out. All right. There's some analysis that we did there that was only for level 3 eyes, but there was some really good content in there, and I just felt a little bit inspired to speak about my life and some observations I've made in my life, and got some really good feedback with respect to that. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'll throw this segment out to the public and just let everybody else have a view of what we were talking about. If it could affect your life in a good way, beautiful. Okay, make sure you check out that video. Okay, there's here's the video I'm talking about, and there's a link down below. You can in the comments section that I'll post for you. Okay, but I talked during the level 3 session. I said, look, you know, we were looking at the euro, and because of everything that's been taking place, it's very likely that we're going to see more profit taking. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, when the data comes out, we'll see positions in the 240s. Okay? And take a look here. You see shorts, they were at 249 and now 241. Low 240s, just like I said. Okay? Profit taking. Profit taking on short positions. That's what's taking place here. Profit taking on short positions, a bump up in longs, 202, 205. And this comes exactly when retail traders are getting in short. Okay? This is exactly what I said. Remember last week, you know, retail traders are mostly long. And I said, well, price is not going to drop because of that. So we're going to see a rally up, which we got. And with that rally up, retail traders are going to get out of their long positions, and they're going to get more short. And that's exactly what took place. All right. So they're probably going to squeeze them even harder, and they're going to rally price up. Okay. I've entered into a long position based on this whole idea, this whole theme that is currently in play. I've entered into position, and I've laid it all out for members in our forum. Okay. They know exactly where I entered and what I'm looking at, and where I'll exit and all that sort of thing, and where I'll enter into more positions, because I will look to enter into more positions as price plays out in my favor. And again, that video that I posted on YouTube that I just mentioned, check it out, because there's a section there where I talk about exactly how I would enter into more positions. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that one. And now let's go over to pound. Pound had been clearly short. Talked about this for a long time. You know, if you were with us for the last few months, you know that this was a supply area that I drew out on the chart. I said this is an institutional area where they're interested in selling, and a spot that, you know, if I had to get into a position on pound, it would be short here. That's why I laid out. And look at the drop from there. That's 1.22. 1.22. All the way down to 115. Okay, good move we got there. So there's been no reason not to think that price wasn't going to drop because things were very bearish with the pound. And just this last week, we got an increase, 87 to 103. That's massive. That is massive. You see how red that is? You see how red this cell is? That means the institutions are aggressive. Okay, they're aggressively adding to their short positions. Okay, not just adding a few short positions, they're aggressive with their positions. 103, average size, 89, well above. Okay, so eventually they'll have to start taking profits on those two, and then that will fuel a move to the upside. Same thing. Okay, same thing. Now they were very bearish all throughout here, and then look what it turned into. You see the coloration of the cells? The coloration of the cells don't lie. These cells, this spreadsheet has taken me years to craft and to figure out how to put together. And it is so accurate in telling me and showing me the sentiment of the banks. You see the blue in the cells? That's telling me that we shouldn't be aggressively adding to short positions if we're currently in short, because the institutions are not so aggressive with their shorts. And their bias is slowly shifting. They're not so bearish anymore. When they become neutral, that means watch out. Good time to take profits on positions and, you know, start thinking about watching for a reversal. Okay? Look here. Look when the cells start turning bearish. Late April, early May. Right here. You see that? Right here. And look what happened ever since then. Boom. Straight. Okay? Only last couple weeks are we getting neutral sentiment down here at the lows. So this one can definitely start to rally up at any point alongside with the other pairs, obviously. US dollar, Japanese yen. What a monster. Look at the longs. We've always been saying that longs are the way to go. We can clearly see in their positions. Look at this latest one. 114,000. What's the average size? 95. Well above average size. Well above average size. And so when we take a look at the coloration of the cells, you know, we've been talking about how recently you got to be careful because look at the coloration of the cells. Very bullish, becoming less so, neutral. Okay? So we're neutral right now. And we should be neutral because even though we got this really strong push to the upside, remember the dollar is hitting supply? We're expecting some move to the downside. Yeah. So we got to be careful at this point. I think some kind of a pullback is going to come. It's inevitable. So I would wait for that. If you want to engage in positions, I would wait for that that drop to come down. Okay. Here was an institutional area of buying that we outlined. Okay. And we told members that this would be a great spot to enter in long when price comes down towards this area. And look, it came down towards that area, and look what it's done since. This is down the low 130s, went up to 142. Not bad. Not bad. So be careful now. It's already made its run, so let it pull back, and then it'll be good. We definitely have a bullish bias on this one over the very long term. And last but not least, we got the Kiwi. Oh, I should also say, you know, when we look at the retail traders, they were mostly short, and they're still mostly short. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Are any of our cells red here? You know, if you were trading alongside with us and you just traded the sentiment, you would know never to be in short. Are any of these cells red? No. Green. Are any of these cells red? No. Blue. So that means you should have been in long since February. Okay. You should have been in long since February because that's what has been happening here. And now's the time to take the pedal off the gas. Okay. All right. Last but not least, Kiwi. A little bit more short than they are long, but bottom line is you look at the coloration. There's not much here. We used to be very red, somewhat neutral. We're getting a tinge of redness here again. Okay, just a tinge, this kind of tinge here. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of a move to the upside, but longer term sentiment is bearish. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you go to www.whiteoakfx.com if you want to find out more about what we do, how we do it, want to get access to the spreadsheet, our analysis, all that good stuff. Think about becoming a member with us. Join us, and let's build our portfolios together. All right. Thanks. Take care. Have yourself a good one. Bye.